Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino, and we have a lot to talk about this morning, so let's get to it. Start with the surface map as of 11 a.m., and as you can see, high pressure is pretty much in control throughout much of the Northeast and Northern Mid-Atlantic. In fact, high pressure is in control all the way back through the Northern Plains and will remain so through at least tomorrow evening, with generally scattered clouds and temperatures remaining below normal with highs in the 40s and lows in the mid-20s. Now, this high pressure system will continue to move to the east and eventually will reposition itself off the northern mid-Atlantic coast. By Wednesday night, the weather pattern gets a lot more interesting, with several disturbances making a beeline right towards the mid-Atlantic coast that could produce a variety of weather from rain to even some wet snow. However, there's some advertisement of a major winter storm that could impact the region on Friday. I'm going to show you exactly why I'm skeptical of that solution with the current data. This is the water vapor satellite picture of pretty much of North America into the Pacific, and what we have here is a pattern that really does not support a major winter storm. Now look, there are certain key factors you need in order to have a major winter storm. Typically you need a negative NAO or an NAO in a state of change, which we have, but there are some other factors that we have to consider as well. First of all, I'm sure everyone can see the plume of moisture driving right into the west coast. When you see that on a satellite picture and you're forecasting a major winter storm, you might want to be concerned, because that type of Pacific pattern is extremely progressive. And that means that there's going to be a lot of disturbances moving right into the United States. Now, in such a pattern, it's really difficult to get high latitude blocking over the Atlantic, because you have one disturbance after another coming into the west coast and moving through the plains. And that typically creates what we call a kicker, which is basically a disturbance that kicks another disturbance to the east a little bit quicker than what model guidance suggests. Further, our negative NAO pattern is collapsing and quickly becoming a positive NAO pattern. What that basically means is that the upper level low sitting over Newfoundland is lifting to the north and east and weakening. And the majority of the model guidance and even some of the observations now show that an upper level low is starting to develop over Greenland. This is the exact opposite of what you want when you're looking for a winter storm, because there's no blocking in the Atlantic, which doesn't allow for any storms to slow down, and also high pressure systems typically are allowed to set up over the Atlantic rather than the St. Lawrence River Valley, which means that there's no mechanism at the surface to keep cold air at the coast. All these factors are why it's very difficult to get a snowstorm in the middle of winter, let alone April 1st. Now, I'm using the European model guidance from the Penn State EWAL. Now, the European model guidance has support from the Canadian model guidance, GFS ensembles, the European ensembles, the UK Met, and a few other model guidances that I like to use, some Japanese models and so on and so forth. But the point is that the only model that really differs from the European model guidance significantly is the 0Z-GFS, so I threw that out. Now, what we have here on Wednesday evening is a positive NAO pattern. Notice there's no upper level low around the Canadian Maritimes, and in fact we have an upper level low over Greenland. Clearly a positive NAO pattern. There's no blocking. Everything's going from west to east in the Atlantic. Further, we have a very strong Pacific jet stream slamming into the Pacific West Coast, specifically around northwestern United States and into British Columbia. This means that that Canada is being flooded with Pacific air, and these disturbances are moving in one after the other. Now, we have one disturbance that is over the Ohio Valley that will be tracking east. At the surface, an area low pressure over the southeast will track towards just to the south and east of the benchmark on Wednesday night into Thursday morning, with a few scattered rain showers and snow showers. I do not expect this to be much of a precipitation event for the region. However, again, a few scattered snow showers could be possible along the coast mixed in with the rain. No significant accumulation and not much in the way of rain. So that's our first storm. Now we move to the second storm, which is expected to impact the northern mid-Atlantic between Thursday night and Friday morning. Now this disturbance is clearly very energetic, but again, there's no blocking over the North Atlantic. So this disturbance is just going to keep on trucking along. Although strong, it's a very fast-moving storm, and again, there's no mechanism to keep the cold air locked in at the surface or over the interior. Now I want to show something at 850 millibars. This time of year, 850 millibars, in order to have snow accumulating, you need to have temperatures around -6 degrees Celsius. Now remember what I said about the Pacific jet introducing a large amount of Pacific air into Canada. Well, that means that basically the 850 millibar temperatures are moderating and quickly. This is not the same type of strong cold air mass that was in place with the previous storm, which produced a mix of rain and snow and a little bit of snow at the end of the storm along the coast. Instead, what we have here is a rapidly warming 850 millibar temperature regime, which means that temperatures are well above -6 degrees Celsius, and that temperatures are marginal even at the mid-levels. At the surface, they're above freezing. So this is clearly not a situation that would support a widespread snow event. So my current thoughts on this storm is that it tracks just to the southeast as a benchmark. The majority of the precipitation will be along the coast, which will fall as rain, possibly mixing in a little bit of snow at times. If you're over the interior, especially above 500 feet, I would expect some accumulating snow, but I'm not sure how much. A lot of this depends on just how far east this low pressure system tracks and how fast it tracks. Further, if the precipitation shield does not develop completely, then some locations over the interior, like the Poconos, could miss out entirely. We're going to have to keep an eye on the exact track of this storm, but this does clearly look like a higher elevation type snow event with some moderate snowfall possible. Because this low pressure system moves so quickly, I would shy against anything above 6 inches at this time for this storm because of the speed and, again, the lack of cold air. And on Friday night, that storm leaves. Another disturbance is on the way. Again, our kicker. That's why our storm isn't going to be able to stick around for all that long. And I think we're going to see another round of some rain showers and snow showers along the coast early Saturday morning. Again, not major in accumulation. And we have another disturbance already entering the west coast. So we're clearly dealing with a progressive pattern with zero blocking over the Atlantic and thus a very fast moving storm track. Active, yes. Fast. Very fast. And just an additional note, again, this is on Friday night. I'm going to hold off on the snow maps for the interior for this storm on Friday morning, mostly because I have some doubts on just how far west that the precipitation shield gets, and also the timing of the snowfall. If majority of the snow is falling later on in the morning, there could be some difficulty with accumulation, especially around 500 to 1,000 feet. So we'll keep an eye on that for the most part. But again, this looks like a very fast-moving storm, and for the coast, mostly a rain event. And by next week, you can see the pattern has completely changed. We have a positive NAO pattern. We also have a trough in the west, which means our storm track is going to be shifted north, which means warmer weather. You can see by Sunday night, we have another area low pressure developing over the Red River Valley. That's going to track towards the northern mid-Atlantic. Again, the storm track is going to be generally to the north of the major cities, which means that temperatures will warm up well above freezing into the 50s and 60s, with a warm front moving through Monday night into Tuesday, with the potential for even maybe a few strong thunderstorms. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Of course, I'll keep an eye on this developing and very volatile forecast for the end of the week. Again, I have my doubts on this being a major storm, but again, we'll keep an eye on it, see exactly how everything evolves. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA weather. Have a great day.